Namaste. Teachers are the nation builders. They are facing a lot of challenges. Unnati Healing Foundation is trying to look into the needs of these teachers and it is lending a helping hand to face their challenges. So in the wellness program for teachers, we are focusing on various aspects like the physical well-being, emotional well-being and so on. Today we will be focusing on the physical well-being. We have with us Dr. Sharad. Welcome, Dr. Sharad.
Namaste.
Doctor, these days with the online classes, a lot of teachers are facing these problems of continuously sitting in front of the screen. They have to correct their assignments online. All these things are leading them, they are facing a lot of problems with respect to eyes, the eyes watering and many other things, and also they have this postural problems. How do we manage this?
Okay, I'll take this opportunity to thank Unnati for giving an opportunity to share my opinions and my viewpoints. Yeah, teachers are the builders, but often neglected part. They face plenty of problems from the head to toe. If you see the data of the literature, they say during their career, many of the people comes with an interest, and some people with a compulsion, some people as a part of their financial resource they'll come. At the end of 5 years, around 30 to 40% will drop their as a teacher. And among them who sustain them, among it again 50% they disconnect themselves from the schoolistic activities, because they will be doing their work, but they are not internally connected. So these are the things are there. So these are not a good signs for the humanity, because teachers are the one who train our students. Students are the builders of our nation. So our nation is entirely dependent upon the teacher. So let us, this session I'll take it as a brief introduction about what are the challenges which the teachers face as a physical health is concerned. Let us go with one most common in the current COVID era. Majority of the people, they have shifted from offline classes to the online classes. So now the era of gadgets. There's the mobile phones, laptops, computers and screens, so on. So here the students coming in front of the gadgets, which most of the government, parents, everybody is addressing is screen time for the students, children. But what about the teachers? The screen time for teachers is much higher, around 4 to 5 times more what the children are facing, because they need to prepare the PPTs, they need to teach them, post-teaching, they need to assess them, they need to correct the assignment, they need to view the homework, everything is through online. So the worst part is the screen time for the teachers. So what the common problem is they face is what we call it as computer eye syndromes. So most commonly they'll have soreness in the eyes, strain in the eyes, redness in the eyes. They are unable to sit for a long time. They feel like they want to just close their eyes and they want to sleep off, even though they are not getting the sleep, but they want to close their eyes. That is the eye strain, what we call. So this is the most common what the teachers say. How to address this? Take certain initiatives. What are those things? See, if your eye strain, eye means what? It is what the light is emitting from opposite. It is seeing and recognizing. It is not creating inside the eyes. It is going to take the picture like how the camera takes. The eyes will take that. In that way, so what you can do, so it's the light is a thing. So adjust the surrounding light, because the screen light brightness and the surrounding bright should be equal, so that it is not putting the glare on your eyes. That is one thing. Second thing, what makes to see the PPT compatible and more comfortable means it's the what we call the sharpness of the letters with the background. That we call it as contrast. So adjust the size of the letters and the background illumination, because background what the PPT use, that makes a lot of difference. So use appropriate background with a larger size, because to make a PPT you have a rule of 5 letters in a sentence, 5 sentences in a slide, not more than that. So using these things as a rule, and if you do it, it is easy for you to read as well as for the students. Next will be what the light colors, because surrounding home light or room light color should be milder. If you take the bulbs of a lower color temperature, the blue light will be minimized, so the eye strain will come down. Then What distance you will keep your computer in front of your eyes? Keep it around 2 feet. And center of the desktop or the computer or the laptops or the mobile should be 10 to 15 degrees just below your eyes like this. So that it will not emit the rays which directly hurt your eyes. Again, next. You can use the glaring. What is the glaring? It is nothing but a reflection. What the light falls and reflect. That will also have an impact. So you can use a anti-glare lenses if you are using a contact lens, or if you are using a specs, or there are certain screens which you can put in front of your desktop. Then most important thing is your screen time. So what you can do, because you will be taking offline all online class for 30 minutes. So you cannot cut short in between that. So at least 30 minutes as a cutoff. You after 30 minutes, 10 minutes you are out of the screen time. Make sure that your eyes, okay. There are other technique, one more called rule of 20-20-20, what we call. Means every 20 minutes, you give small activities to the students. So they will be doing. Meanwhile, you focus your eyes at 20 feet beyond. Okay, for 20 seconds. Come back. It hardly takes 20 seconds. But your eye will defocus. Because eye strain is because you are focusing, your eye muscles are focusing, inside the eye your lens is focused. Because if you see the camera aperture, lens will be moving like front and back, as well as widening and shortening, because to focus. The same way, eyes also has to focus, defocus in order to capture the image. Because if you are seeing the image as like this one-pointedness, your eyes strains, the intraocular muscles get strained. So to relax that, so what you can do is defocusing and defocusing. In between every 20 minutes, take a small break. That will help you. The last but the most important is eye exercise. Because your intraocular muscle and extraocular muscles need to be exercised. Intraocular muscles can be exercised with the accommodation, and extraocular muscles can be exercised, your exercise can be done with eye rotation. That will be subsequently dealt with Dr. Sanskrit, and how this eye exercise can help you to get rid of your fatigue. Okay, this is about the eye fatigue. Then dryness, redness, most often complaint is dryness and redness. So what do you do? Why dryness occurs? Because every person blinks the eye 15 to 20 times per minute. If you are watching a TV, if you are watching computer, now in this video also, if you see, our eye blinking is less. When the purpose of eye blinking is to create a water layer in front of your eyes, so that your cornea and conjunctiva should not get dried, because they will absorb directly nutrients from them. Because they will not get from other ways, they have to directly absorb. So moisturize it. How we can moisturize? Blink it more often, at least 20 times per minute. Make conscious effort to blink in between. No problem. Students will not mind, or the parents will not mind if you blink more. Okay, that is the things. So other thing what you can do is, most important will be, if the eyes are red, or if there is a lot of burnings, you can use a refresh eye drops. Just moisturizers. They are all moisturizers. If still redness is there, if there is a blurring of vision is there, you are unable to see properly, then please visit the near ophthalmologist and get the eye checkup comprehensively, so that your eye problems are rectified. And one more thing is, when you are sitting in a room, your light should be milder, and even whatever the windows are there, they should not come in front of, because the light will be falling on your eyes, and from the computer also light will be falling on your eyes. To avoid that, you sit where your windows are there, so they are in the back, not in the front. These are the few tips which I want to highlight, how the eye strain can be taken.
Okay, it was a very detailed step-by-step guidance for healthy eyes. Now, this was with respect to online classes. Now, with the actual classes, teachers, they use chalk piece and the chalk dust. Many of them have the irritation happening, and they stand for long hours. So, backache, all these are some of the things that they face. So, how do we manage this? And if the room size or the classroom is large, they have to, they shout actually to reach the last benches also. So in that case, how should they manage this?
In this regard, we have two things. One is physically, like one is if there is a throat. So throat, purpose of throat is to produce voice. How the voice is produced? Voice is produced by blowing of the air through the vocal cords. If you see the flute, you are blowing the air, but through the narrow opening it will come. But after that you will be rhythmically, your fingers will be maintaining the tone. Okay, that's the flute. It's the same mechanism. Here the voice comes by blowing of the air through the throat. It will be modulated by tongue, teeth, and the whole of the mouth and the nose. Okay, and there are some sinuses here. The whole mechanism involves in the sound production. So whenever you are in the class, if you want to talk loudly, doesn't mean that you need to raise your voice. Because see, the sound has many things. One is loudness, another one is tone, pitch, and so other components. Like if you see the tape recorder, you can see bass, you can see treble, so many others. If you see the music videos, there will be ups and downs like this, waveforms. So those waveforms there are subtle more aspects of the sound is there. That's why if you see any voice recording or audio recording center, if you go, you can see that in that instrument there will be 12 to 15 adjustments will be there to modulate. So when such a thing is there, why can't we use this? Using a nasal twang, using the mouth, using the tongue, using the teeth, you can modulate your voice output. You need not be loud, but you can reach. There are certain techniques which will be taught in the teacher's training where how to modulate the voice, how to modulate your mouth, how to modulate your teeth, how to modulate the lips, so that you will be able to reach. This is a voice modulation we need to learn. And in between the classes, try to give voice rest. Because most of them overuse after 10-15 years, your voice volume comes because your vibrating capacity of the vocal cords comes down. That's why the problem starts with the voice. So use certain techniques that can be dealt in subsequent sessions with the wellness program in the for teachers, where how to modulate the voice. You can have that. And next thing will be patient the posture. See that one is the eyes over, throat over, next is the posture related. Because if you have two aspects, one is offline, another one is online. If it is online, you have to sit for a long time. How you are sitting? If you observe yourself in front, you'll be leaning forward, you'll be seeing the desktop like this, like this, like this, like this. Then your hand is like this, your spine is like this. If you imagine this as a head and neck and body. So whatever the weight you put here, it will fall like this. But if you are leaning forward like this, see this one? So if you put a weight here, the weight, because of the gravity, it will fall here. It will not, the weight will not be transmitted here. So the pressure is here. If I am putting, the pressure is here. In the same way, if I am bending the neck and this one, the weight of the head is not transmitted across the spinal cord, because whole of the weight has to transmit through the spinal cord. Whether it's in the hand or anywhere, it has to transmit through the spinal cord. Okay, spine. The spine need to be straight. So if you bend, your head is bending forward, so you will not be able. So in that case, so instead of sitting like this, sit like this, straight. So your head weight will be carried through the spine. So whenever you bend like this, the strain is on the neck and the shoulder, because the muscles comes like this. Okay, so any strain lead to neck pain, shoulder pain, soreness in the muscles and the back headache. This is the most common what the teachers complain. This is related to posture. This is the upper one. The lower one, the same way. The spine is like this. If it is carrying, you are bending like this, drooping shoulders. So what happens? Again the lumbar curve will go soft. It will become flat. So again strain on that. So the spine is kept erect by the muscles on the back, muscles on the front. That we call it as erector muscles. Okay. If anywhere spine abnormality, the opposite muscle will be put under strain. So obviously it will go for pain. This is what you keep both the anterior and the posterior, the front and the back muscles tight with the keeping straight. So do yoga. Okay, some of the pelvic exercises will deal regarding the low back pain and how to do exercise, what are the exercises in the subsequent sessions, because it requires a longer session where we need to demonstrate yoga, what are the exercises you can use for lower back, predominantly because teachers will 90% of the teachers definitely will have a low back pain. We need to understand. That is straight stand and put your weight equally on both legs. That is more important. Don't stand on a single leg, because it will again cause a spine. The spine will become bent if you stand on one leg. You can observe if any person has a polio, they will be standing on one leg, so their spine will become automatically. Even though spine is straight, they becomes like this. Okay, that's what you need to know. That is about the postures.
Okay, so very important information we got. If we have to reach the last benches, we don't have to talk loudly. It's just the modulation that helps us, and the importance of spine. Spine is very, very important. This apart, I have a few friends, teacher friends, who keep complaining that, or probably it is their lifestyle, they don't take their food on time, or it would not be a balanced diet. So this also has an effect on their health. Take it acidity or untimely and junk foods can lead to obesity and many other things. So how do we solve this?
That is an utmost important for the physical health is concerned, because in a Pancha Kosha they call it as Annamaya Kosha. Anna means the food. So we get everything from body. So now the science has advanced, and now they are telling what the food you give, that the bacteria grows in your intestine. Which bacteria grows in your intestine, that will characterize your even emotions, even thoughts, your health, your liver diseases, your gastric, everything. Now it is everything is behind the bacteria. So anything which has to grow means it need a food. It is whether it's a fertilizer, whether it is a tablets, whether it is a food, a juice, fruits, milk, anything. It's whatever the food we eat is a fertilizer for our gastrointestinal system. Now gastrointestinal system is an utmost important, because we say gut-brain axis. What is the relation with the brain and gut? Because the food you give go to the intestine, it produces hormones in the presence of bacteria, in the presence of so many other organs. This hormones goes and act on the brain. So it's so beautiful. The brain again sends signals to the gut. So they are like a husband and wife. If anything happens to one, the other things shuts. So in the way, emotional, mental well-being and the GAT, the food takes more important. This is what the gut-brain axis is concerned. The food what we take should be balanced. See, in that case, I'll always advise to go back to your culture-based diet. What is the culture-based diet? Culture-based diet means what your father, grandfather, your ancestors were eating, not the current westernized diet. Because it's like in your home, you are there, 3 people are there. If somebody else comes, you will become irritable. You will adjust for some days, after you will start fighting with them. In such a case, what about the body? Because your genes has been trained, came from your father and grandfather and their ancestors. And these genes are modulated according to their food intake. So if we are not taken the food, if your ancestors have not taken the food which you are not taking, your body might not accept. That's how the GI disorders are increasing in now. Now there's the functional GI disorders, what we call, where all tests are normal. Endoscopy done, gastric, endoscopy done, everything test done, normal, but you have a gastric. You will be burping, burning sensation, so many other things. You will have an abdominal pain, test done, CT done, MRI done, all blood tests done, normal, still abdominal pain. These are called functional. Now the volume of the book is increasing over past 10 years. Initially it was the size of this. Now the volume of the book is now more than 2000 pages. Functional GI, where we are landing. It is one is your mental health and the emotional health, which is most important. Second thing is your diet. A well-balanced diet, cultural based diet. I'll just give an example. Because any food which should have a protein, carbohydrates and a fat. So modern science says 60% carbohydrate, 20 to 30% proteins and 10 to 20% fat. I'll give an example. Do you ever know what is the most common tiffin breakfast of the South India? Is idli, vada, or idli, sambar, chutney, or dosa. Okay. What they use? They use rice, carbohydrates, that is cereals. They use a urdu dal, black gram dal, that's a protein. Then they use a coconut chutney, that's a fat. See, all the three. Chutney, you take this, and you take, if it is like 1 cup of rice means, you will use a half cup of urdu dal. You almost give 50% of that. If you take the protein content, 30% of it, so it will be somewhere around 20%. 30%. Again, you are going to use a groundnut, roasted groundnut for this one groundnut, or roasted Bengal gram you will use for chutney. You add a proteins for that, or you add fat for that with the coconut as well as a groundnut will have
And
some amount
ghee is
of
also added.
ghee is also will be added. So you have a balanced diet. So that is what we require. Use a balanced diet, not a dieting, not avoiding just a food will not going to help you anywhere. Okay, adding proper diet into your stomach, your body will be healthy. If your body is healthy, you can take care of anything. Second thing, eating the food in time is utmost important, and the third thing is what you eat is again other than the culture based. Make a habit of eating one fruit every day. There is no option. Take all seasonal fruit, no unseasonal fruits, because nature gives the fruits according to the season, according to the calories, according to the fiber content, everything according to what it is required, and calorie density. And fruits are the potent source of fibers, because fiber is the most important component of the diet, because you require around 15 to 20 grams of fiber. Alone with other fruits, you will not be able to complete. So you take one fruit per day. It can be a banana, even if it is diabetic or any disease. Don't bother. You can take the diet, but only the quantity of the thing. And when you take, if it is a diabetic, avoid 2 hours immediately after food, so that your sugar should not pick up. You can take 2 hours after food or 2 hours before food. You can take, but the quantity. If a normal person can take one mango, you can take 2 slices of mango. If a normal person can take a big banana, you can take one small banana. So you can reduce, you need to adjust the balance with that. So that's where we need to understand a balance that is much more important. So take one fruit per day, because it's a potent source of antioxidants, trace minerals. Okay, then you can eat cashews, you can eat almonds, you can eat dry grapes. Those are good source of fibers as well as resins as well as essential fatty acids. That is utmost important. You need to take care of that. See, never neglect a diet. And that is the most important. If there is abdominal pain is there, if you are not past the stools, what happens? Not only you are constipated physically, you are constipated mentally, you are constipated emotionally. You have watched a movie called Pico, right? In that, how he has shown how a physical constipation can make a person irritable, anger. So you will not be, if you are a teacher, if you have a constipation, then definitely you will not be able to take a good class. You will not be able to understand the essence of the teachings. When you are not able to understand, so definitely it is impossible for you to transfer the materials or the whatever the things are there to the students.
So we have been listening to all the problems related to the physical body. So this physical problems, the problems in the physical body leads to the problems in the mental and the emotional body. Or is it the other way, doctor? Emotional, when a person is emotionally or mentally disturbed, then the physical body disorders start.
Yes. As I explained previously, the constipation, how the constipated person can be emotionally blocked. He will not be able to express. The face itself become expressionless.
Yes.
So that's why the most. So if the physical can give rise to the emotional and mental problem, because there is a gut-brain axis. The well-being hormone is a serotonin. If there is a constipation, the same amount of serotonin will not be there. So they will not be having that well-being, good wellness. That will not be there in their mind. So they are constipated emotionally. In the same way, if the person is depression, if the person is having emotional problems, financial problems, family problems, he will be there. His mood is low, his serotonin is low. This serotonin is a major hormone present in the gut. If the serotonin is low, there also it lows. If the serotonin is low, your motility of the gut will come down. Okay, in that way he is also secondarily become constipated. That's why any depressed patient, they will have a constipation. The third thing will come there. How this stress? Stress is a good one. Stress, where it comes, you have given a target and you are unable to achieve it, or you are thinking, I may not be possible, you will get stressed. But stress is required to reach the target. So to reach that, body will produce a stress hormones, that is a steroid hormones, catecholamines, so many other things will be there. So when this stress persists beyond the certain point, like suppose if you are going in a bike and you are riding and suddenly some bike comes, you will suddenly get stressed because it might it might got heat or anything, that sudden internal stress will come. But after that setting, If the person he will move by himself, I will move by myself. The incident is over. If that stress persists beyond that, okay, now the incident is over. If that stress still persists, then we call it as anxiety. This is how you need to differentiate between stress and an anxiety. You want to take a class, you are having a stress whether I will be able to complete, whether I will be able to reach or not. But if after the class also, if you persist that anxiety, this one, stress in you, it will convert into anxiety. If suppose in a long term, this anxiety and stress, what happens? If there is a stress, I already told body will produce so many catecholamines and steroids. Okay, it will going to produce so many hormones. So it will raise your BP. See, if in a fear, you can imagine, you will be at your tip of the tongue, your eyes are like wide open, you are seeing one-pointedness, body is getting heated, and your body is stiff, and your BP is high, pulse rate will be high. This is what happens in stress. Once the stress goes off, then everything comes back. But if the stress is persisting at a higher level for a longer time, if the same BP will be at higher level, pulse rate will be higher level, sympathetic tone will be higher level, body thinks that, okay, person is under stress, so he needs, it will keep on keeping it higher because body has its own consciousness. It thinks, like example, if there is a stroke in the brain, it cannot supply the blood. Body thinks, I need to push more blood. It will raise the BP by itself. That's a natural phenomenon. In the same way, in emotions, stress and anxiety, sympathetic overactivity will be there persisting. If it persists for a long time, body thinks that his body requires so much of this one. So over long term, the person are prone to develop hypertension. Person are prone to develop MI or myocardial infarction or heart related problems. So this is how a stress which is of emotional and mental origin comes back to the physical. This will be better explained in the Panchakosha. That will be dealt by Dr. Saraswati Kehagde in subsequent part, how this will manifest. This definitely teachers are 90% suffering with this. They require an intervention in the form of meditations, pranayama and so on. So please take care of your health, not only physical, mental and emotional health.
Thank you, doctor. Today we have dealt about almost all the physical problems a teacher faces, from eyes to throat, then heart and stomach, our food habits, and how our mental health and emotional health affects our physical body. And yes, we have got a lot of important tips, and I'm sure if we follow all of them, definitely we will see some changes in the physical health. So thank you, doctor.
Thank you. Please make use of this session and become physically fit to build the nation.